Hi, everyone. Welcome in. Thanks for joining us today. And we'll give everyone kind of a minute to get here. For those of you who I haven't met, my name is Emily Coble. I'm the Senior Marketing Manager here at Retail Control Systems. I'm joined today by Paul Heslop, our lead developer, and we're diving into all things Datastream today. All right. Paul, do you want to jump in? We're going to start with kind of what Datastream is, the updates the team has made recently, and then into a demo. We'll do Q&A at the end, so feel free to drop your questions as we go.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Emily. And hi, everybody. I'm Paul at RCS. Probably met a bunch of you folks already. But if not, welcome. And really, thanks for joining. We're really excited about this product, Datastream, and especially really this current iteration of it. It has been around for some time, but we pushed a pretty substantial update, and it adds some very exciting new features that I'm excited to talk to you and show you today. Next slide, please. Okay, so for the folks out there who are new to Datastream or who have never heard of it, basically it is a self-service analytics tool developed from the ground up by RCS. And it's an analytics tool that connects to your NCR Counterpoint data. So basically think of it like a Power BI Lite. It's basically a way where you can visualize your data, chop up your data, look at it, create charts, create reports, and really get insight and analytics of what your data is that's outside of the typical, old school running crystal reports and RDPing into Counterpoint and exporting CSVs and all that stuff. It's just a modern approach to accessing your data. And that being said, I said modern, it is cloud-based, so it is in the web browser. So no VPN connection required anywhere that you have an internet connection, whether it be plugged into the wall, whether it be Wi-Fi at your home or at your coffee shop or mobile data on your mobile phone. Anywhere that you can get to a web browser, you can get to this website and you can look at your Counterpoint data in real time. Next slide, please. Okay, so what's new? So that's kind of the data stream that's been around for a while, so we've improved on that. And the things that I'm going to touch on today in our live demo is we have a basically brand new user interface, new UI. It's shinier, it's snappier. You have drag and drop functionality. It's just a lot cleaner. It scales better on different devices. Whether you have a widescreen monitor in your office or you're looking at it on your iPad sitting on the beach somewhere, it will scale and you can see your reporting wherever you are. We've also taken in a lot of the feedback and we've created basically a personalized experience. So the prior Datastream experience, you just had like what you saw is what you got. We developed a set of canned reports. We just delivered them to everybody, and that was it. And then we took in all the feedback from our users who signed up early, and they said, we want personalization. We have different users who have different needs. We want to build our own dashboards and our own charts and have them per user. So I'll show you that in just a minute. You can also, within a dashboard, if you don't like where something sits, you can move it around just by simply dragging and dropping. So you can change the widths and the heights of different reports. You can, say, move your top 10 categories from the top to the bottom or vice versa, and really customize that any way that you want. One of my favorite features is we have completely overhauled the report and chart builder, and that's kind of more for the the tinkerers, the people who really want to get into the data. We've added a lot of functionality there, a lot of keyword searches, and a lot of cool new features where you can really make some really dynamic reports pretty quickly and share them out to users. And then finally, again, based on feedback, we've created a starting point for you. So we've created a handful of canned reports. So if you're brand new to Counterpoint, and that's really how I'm going to really display this demo as a brand new Datastream user. So if you don't know what's going on, you're not familiar with any of the tables, we've kind of made it pretty easy for you to go in, and then you can see a list of canned reports, and you can say, oh, I want to start with this data set, as a starting point. You can duplicate it, and then you can see all the columns and data points involved, and then you can build your reports from there. And I think that's it for slides. So I can take over the share here. Okay, can you see my screen? Emily, are we good?
Yeah, we are good.
Okay. Cool. Like I said before, I'm just going to start right from the beginning. So this is our login screen to Datastream. And again, as I said, we're just in a web browser. It is datastream.rcsarrow.com. So you can pull that up on your phone. You can pull that up on your tablet. It just works anywhere. So you have a login screen here. We do support single sign-on with Microsoft. A lot of our clients out there use Microsoft Teams, as their email. So this is handy for them. So I'm just going to go ahead and log in here. And once I do, we built it again with security first because it's your personal Counterpoint data. So everything does have two-factor authentication. So I'm just going to paste in my 2FA code here. And as you see, once I log in, I land right on the dashboard. So this is the brand new Datastream overhauled dashboard. And this is your real-time Counterpoint data. So this is connected to a real Counterpoint database out there. And this is what we call live tickets, although you can name this whatever you want, but I just named it live tickets. And this is your unposted Counterpoint data. So at a very high level, we have some metrics up at the top here. So, I have, total returns, we just quantity sold, sales, tickets. And then as I move further down, I have a sales per hour chart, top 10 items, top 10 categories, and then different visualizations here. But the difference here is I can move any of this stuff around. So say I want my tickets over here, I can just drag and drop. I want my returns over here, I can drag and drop, and this will save automatically. So I made some changes here. If I refresh the page, reloads the dashboard, and everything saves automatically. I can move this up if I want to. Well, let me move this here. And all of these are drag and drop. And say, I want to create a little real estate here. I can select any one of these charts. I can just hit this. I can make this a width 33, a width 33, and this a width 33. And then now I have 3 charts on one line. So if you want to design a custom dashboard for a cell phone, you might want to shrink everything down, and this is a great way to do it. But I'm just going to put this back for now, make that 100, and make this 50. So another difference here, so you'll see a number of different icons when I hover over. So if I go to sales per hour, I now have the ability, if I click this icon, I can see a preview of the data behind the scenes. So seeing this visual, sure, yeah, that's great, but what do these bars actually mean? I can hover over them and see different, if I look like that, I can see it, but this gives you a preview where you can actually see the data behind. And I can do this on any chart, on any dashboard. I also have different options. I can change what the chart type is on the fly. So again, if I click this gear button, if I don't like the heat map, I can make this a donut. And then if I refresh my page, it will stay as a donut. But I'm going to stick to heat map on that one. And then also I can change the height. Again, this would be, for if you're designing a dashboard specifically for your cell phone or tablet, you might want to make it shorter. So, as you switch devices and you're working with a smaller screen, it will fit better. Okay, so the next thing I want to touch on is we do have multiple dashboards. So here I'm in live tickets. If I just go up to the top here and I use this drill down, Out of the box, we ship with these different dashboards. So if I go to, say, customers, I get a snapshot of my current customers. So how many customers are in my database, loyalty point balance, points redeemed. I want to move this around, so I'm going to move that there. And then we have just high-level things of spend and kind of customer-related data. And then I'll just pull in, I guess, last year's sales too. So this pulls into ticket history. It also has date comparisons. This is a newer database, so it actually doesn't have data for last year. But I can show you some, once we get into it, I'll show you how those comparisons work. But if there is data for previous year, it will automatically give you that comparison here. Okay, and then moving on, I'll skip the colors for now. I guess I'll talk about it briefly, but we have different color options. This is kind of important for folks who, might stare at a screen all day. You might want different colors, light mode, dark mode, so you can change these, on the fly. And they, again, as I refresh the page, no need to save. Everything is tied into my specific user profile, kind of on the fly. So another different change we have here is I talked about customizable dashboards, and this is where that gear comes in. So if I click this gear up at the top, I get a whole new screen, and then I have a way where I can have a list of available charts. So these are all of the charts that are in the system. So I have RCS charts and then various different charts. And then I have charts that are currently available on my dashboard. And if I wanted to, I could move any of these over just by selecting this, clicking this arrow, and they would instantly show up on my current chart. Sorry, on my current dashboard, I mean. And then moving down, I have the option to clone a dashboard. And what this means is, say I really like live tickets, but I want my own copy of it because I want to mess around with it. So if I go to clone dashboard, I can go live ticket Paul, and then I can save it. And then now, just for my user, I now have live tickets Paul. So if I start at live tickets, I refresh the page. Next time I log in, I can now see live tickets Paul. So I have my own customized dashboard, and say I want this over here, move this around. That will save just to live tickets Paul, and it does not overwrite the stock dashboard. So I now have my own dashboard that I can play with. And then moving down the options here, this actually came in as a request when we first launched this new version of Datastream. Our folks wanted a way, so sure, yeah, I have live tickets Paul, but what if I spend all this time building on a dashboard and I want to share this with my employees? It's as simple as just going to miscellaneous options, and I can go share with company, and I just tick this off. And then now any other user, say it's Emily or whoever else, logs into Datastream, they'll be able to see Paul's live tickets dashboard in their view, and they'll be able to duplicate it, make a copy of it, and make it their own. Moving further down here, I can reorder and rename any dashboard. So say live tickets is my top one right now, the first one I see when I log in, but I just want last year's sales. So I can move that down, and then I can say, I can just rename last year's sales to like primary. And then if I press save, I can refresh. And now my primary dashboard right here has been renamed, and it is now at the top of the list. But I'm going to undo my change because it's how I roll. Okay. So I'll save that again. And then finally, my last option here, if I hit the gear again, available dashboards. So these are all of the dashboards that have been previously built that are available to add. And I will show you that in just a minute when we go into the other two parts of Datastream. Okay, so that is the dashboard. Next, we're going to go into the analytics section, which is over here on the left. And if I drill down to analytics, I see reports and charts. So reports and charts are kind of really intertwined. So a report you can think of as like a data set, or if you're used to Excel, it's basically all the rows and the columns of where your data sits. And that's where you can set your filters, set your pivots, set your columns. All of that stuff lives in reports. And then once you have that data set, once you have that report, you can build a chart, and a chart is basically a visualization. So if I'm looking at my top 10 categories, this top 10 categories is a chart that connects to my ticket history report. And kind of, it seems a little weird right now, but it's really, if you're used to Excel and different workbooks and pivot tables and that kind of thing, it's really that it works a lot like that. So if I go into reports and I click list, I see this is empty. Okay, I'm a brand new user, so I don't know what I'm doing. So instead of, I could, if I wanted to, I could just create one. But what I want to do instead is I want to go into a list of reports that have already been done for me. I want to save some work. So I just go over here. I could either go with company specific ones. So say Emily works at my company. She's made one for me. It's called customer details. And she says, hey, Paul, go ahead and mess with customer details. I shared it out with you. So I could go there. Or I have RCS reports. So I can drill into RCS reports and I see, again, reports are data sets. So I can see that we have kind of canned reports that we've created for you. So I want to play around with last year's sales. So I'm going to go to last year's sales here. I'm going to go over here and I press duplicate. And once I press duplicate, this makes a copy of the report that is completely separated from the report that I copied. So if I make changes to it, I don't have to worry about messing Emily up or messing my boss up or whoever built the report or somebody RCS, ruining their experience. I now have a brand new copy of this report. So once I do that, it brings us into the report builder. I'll go into this in a little more detail in a bit, but just a high level, this has been completely overhauled. So starting at the top, we can give this a name. I can change the name if I wanted to. I have an option to share this with a company. But most importantly, I can decide what columns that I want to have in this report set. And what we've added here is we've overhauled this report builder section and basically the way to browse Counterpoint. So you can search by table names, both friendly names and column names. So if I were to just go like, it's already selected, so I'll show you that in a minute. But since ticket history is selected as my primary, I can hover over any field and it will give me the data dictionary name. So if I'm a brand new user and I don't know what bus date is, or I don't even know what business date is, I can hover over it and it will give me a description of what the field actually means in the database. And then you can see if it's checked off, of course, it shows up over here. And the neat thing about this too is a lot of times you have, a ticket history table and it might have a field called like Custno, but that's not really useful if you're doing like a marketing campaign because nobody knows the internal Custno of Counterpoint is 1234 and that is Paul. What they do know is the name and the address. So what we have done is basically create really relationship tables. So if you select a table that has different metadata with it, such as this, if I scroll down here, there's a lot of columns. It will give me my secondary table. And then it will also pull in my store table. So I said customer, but this is ticket history. So basically just by selecting the ticket history table, it figured out that, oh, hey, there's a store ID column in here. I'm going to bring in your store table. So if you want to add, say your store address or your store name, you can do that automatically. You don't have to go and click through the entire database to try to, figure that stuff out. And here's an example. I skipped by it. We have the secondary table brought in automatically for you. Okay, so that's great. So I have this report. So really, what do I do with it? So if I go now to charts and I press list, And then now I have duplicated RCS charts. So if I go into duplicated RCS charts, these are all of the charts that were automatically created for me when I decided that I wanted to work with that ticket history report. So I can use any one of these as a starting point. So right now I want to go into my top 10 categories. I'm going to press manage. And here is the kind of cool part. Here's where I can slice and dice and build the visual. So let's start at the top left here. So in my chart builder, 1, 2, 3, number one, I always want to start with a data source, which is my report. So my data source, I want that to be last year's sales. I can choose my style. Again, I can change this on the fly at any time. I'm just going to keep it as a bar graph. So I'll do a bar graph. Again, I can do this on the fly. I'm going to just keep this width 100, height default. And then here is where I can change my type. So a lot of times you just want to stick with normal. I'm going to stick with normal now. And then you want to select the column that will be a representation on your chart. So I want to look at category codes here. And my default one from RCS as a starting point showed a sum of price and a sum of quantity sold. So because I already have that, I'm not really interested in extended price. What I really want to see is quantity sold, but I want to see quantity sold year over year. So I don't care about extended price, so I'm going to get rid of it. So now that that's gone, I can either limit results. I'm going to do that in this case, or it might get crazy. I'm going to go to top 10 here, and then I'm going to go to compare to prior period. And once I compare to prior period, excuse me, if I wanted to, I could filter further. I'm not going to in this case, but you can filter on any column that is available in the data set. So in this case, it's already filtered to sale lines. But if I wanted to, I could filter on store, and I could build store-specific dashboards. I could build, really item number specific dashboards. I can add more if I wanted to on the fly, very easily. But I'm just going to stick with line type S. And then I have a little preview here. I just have to reload the preview. And then once I reload the preview, I see the data here. I don't have a lot of prior quantities here. Must be pretty low, but they would show up as that different color. And then once that is set, I can press save up here. So I have this chart that I created. I'm just going to call this Paul's categories. Save it again. And then now here I can press manage dashboards. And here I have the option, I can create a brand new dashboard, start from scratch if I wanted to, or I can add this to any existing dashboard that is out there. So, and really what that means, these two boxes, dashboards with this chart. So I just made this chart, so there are no dashboards with this chart. So that's why it says none. But I have available dashboards that I can add it to. So right now I want to add it to the one that I just created. It's mine, so it's my favorite. So I'm going to select it, and I'm going to press this. And now dashboards with this chart is going to be live tickets - Paul. Press save. And once that's saved, I can go immediately into my dashboard. And then from live tickets, again, that's my default. I can go to live tickets Paul and scroll all the way down to the bottom. And I see Paul's categories. And I think Paul's categories is really important. So I'm going to make it just a little smaller, but I want to move it up where everybody can see it. So I'm going to move it right up here. And right up here. Right up here. I'm going to make this a little smaller so they both fit. So I have top 10 categories, and I have Paul's categories. Again, refresh the page. Live tickets, go down to live tickets Paul. Saves automatically. Okay. I mean, really, that's the tour. That's really what I wanted to cover today. The only other part that I want to touch on is really from a performance perspective. So you're looking at all this data and thinking that it's hitting your Counterpoint database all the time. I'm refreshing the page. I'm loading ticket history. I'm doing this and that and this and that. Well, behind the scenes, we have a queuing system, and this is pretty neat. So if I hit this report queue, basically what it does is when you first build a report, it adds what we call a query. It adds the function that retrieves the data from your database to a queue, and it will run it in a timely fashion, but it will run it behind the scenes so you're not overloading the system. And what happens is as you build these reports, each time you build one, they get saved here so you can reference the data at any point. And this is also the way where, sure, we have all these fancy dashboards and charts, but if you're like, I don't care about that, I just want an export. I have a web developer who is asking for something called JSON. I don't know what that is, but there's a button for it. And he says, as long as I can get JSON, all he needs is the data. So luckily you can do that. You can export either in JSON, in CSV, or directly in Excel. So if you're a user who, maybe has like a 5-year-old Excel, you have all the pivots set up and ready to go. All you need is the data in the same columns that you've always had. You just set up a report and you can go in here and you can export it as needed. And these kind of stick around for, it says here, I think they stick around for a week, and then you can just rerun it. You can also preview from here, and it will pull up all of your columns in a preview. Okay, I know I probably went through that pretty quickly, but I wanted to leave enough time for questions. I'm sure there might be a few questions, and certainly I'm happy to go into anything in any more detail. But I guess, Emily, I'll hand it over to you for questions.
Great. Yeah. Thank you so much, Paul. A question that just came in from Dr. Sharita. Can we add expiration date buttons with a prompt to put item on sale within a certain period, like 2 weeks or 1 month?
That sounds more like a Counterpoint question to me, and not a Datastream question. So I'll have to kind of defer to probably our support team to see if it's something we can do, but that seems more like inside Counterpoint, not related to Datastream. But we could potentially come up with a solution for you there.
Thanks, Paul. Another question just came in. Are you limited to either one location or all locations when creating reports/charts, or does the ability to use location groups exist?
That's a great question. You are not limited. It all depends on the filter that you set. So for example, like if I go into my chart here, and I want to say I think I could do a metric of sales. So this would be what we call a metric. So you have different chart styles, and a metric are those little boxes that show up on the top. And that's basically like one number. So that would be like your high level stuff. So say, for example, I wanted a metric of a store. I could just add a filter here, and then I could say my store ID equals whatever it is. And then I could create a new chart like that. So I could have different charts and different metrics for different stores. Or I could just leave it open if I wanted to, and that would return data for everything. And then I can add multiples. So I could do, store is Main or store is East, something like that.
Very cool. Can we talk a little bit about historical data in Datastream, like how much historical data there is and kind of the ways that you can break that down?
Yeah, so there is as much historical data as there's historical data in your database. It's a direct connection to your Counterpoint database. We do cache it for history data, but it is all of the data in your database. And this is a great example. So if I go over here to my last year's sales, I'm just going to go duplicated charts here. You can break that down by either doing different filters. This is kind of the manual way. You can add filters like this. But we also have this section called date period. So if I drill down to date period, I can build different reports and data sets based on yesterday, last 7 days, 30 days. These are canned. And then if I choose this year and then I select compare to previous period, it will give me that option in the chart to do that what I demoed, that comparison of this year versus last year, or basically like comparison A versus comparison B. That's how that works.
Great. Can you set up automatic exports in Datastream to add to your data to a data warehouse? Sorry.
You cannot, but we do have other solutions for that. We have something inside Counterpoint called the data exporter, which allows you to do that. I will say that we have received requests to add that to Datastream, so we are thinking about it. I don't think it would be a heavy lift to add, but it was not part of this current iteration of Datastream.
When building metrics, what other logical arguments are available besides equals?
So with filters, right here, it depends on the field. So we have business date equals before, after, between, empty. But then if I do like, document ID, it's same with Counterpoint. If you're dealing with a date, it's either, today, tomorrow, between. But if you're dealing with like what's called a string, it could be equals, does not equal, contains. It's really that, just really the logical operators. It depends on the data type, really.
A question came in about API keys and whether that's for receiving calls from other applications.
Sure. So what you also get with Datastream is you get access to our API. And let me, if you give me just a minute here, I'm going to stop sharing just for 1 second. And I'm going to I should have had this up as a tab, but that's all right. So with Datastream, you also get access to what Datastream is built on. So in building Datastream, we noticed that when we were starting this, we noticed there was a lot of gaps with the NCR API solution, and it was always really annoying to work with. So we decided we didn't want to work with it anymore, so we built our own. So this is really the foundation of what Datastream is, and I think this is what you were talking about. But basically, it's a modern open API built on JSON format. And it's a direct connection to Counterpoint. And we have public API documentation. So if you go to our website, we actually have a link to this. It's called Swagger. It's like the de facto standard of API docs out there. So if you want to work with a third party or a tinkerer or something, if they see Swagger, they're going to know what to do, just out of the box. So it gives you access to a whole bunch of sections of Counterpoint. So you can do things with customers, like you can create your own customers. You can update customers if you want to. You can get a list of customers. You can do all things gift cards. This has been a really popular one because, and actually I'll touch on another little side feature here built around gift cards. But we have a whole inventory section, so you can see kind of your quantity on hands, availables, all that sort of stuff. And then metadata for inventory and items too. You can do inventory adjustments as well if you would like to. And then you can also, of course, create tickets. That's great for e-com. If you want to integrate with e-com and you want folks to be able to create a ticket. We use this a lot for keeping Counterpoint as like the source of truth for inventory, because that's where Counterpoint really excels. And then we have other folks who integrate with different front ends who then bring in ticket data into Counterpoint, and that's where you manage your inventory in that way. And that all uses the API, and that all comes with Datastream. And you have within that, you just have the ability here, you can generate your own API keys. I'll leave this page. And you can just do that. It's all self-service. So once you have Datastream, you can generate somebody a key, and they can access the API.
Awesome. Thanks for diving into that, Paul. Some questions about like real time. So how real time is data in Datastream, and can you view current inventory in real time?
Yeah, so right here, this is real time. So every time I click this is pinging Counterpoint. So so this would be your what's called the unposted tickets. So and basically real time all depends on what report that you have. But if you build a report, say on the inventory table, every time you load that report, that's going to be real time. But ticket history is a little different. Like posted data is a little different because it's just by its name and nature, it's not real time. But any live unposted table, like if you do something, say unposted inventory adjustments or purchase requests or purchase orders, if you build a report and a dashboard out of that, as soon as you refresh that report, it will be that data it's not cached anywhere. It kind of goes out to Counterpoint.
Great. Can we combine parameters, like show a chart of sales per hour of each store on one chart?
Sales per hour for each store on one chart. I believe so. Yeah, I believe we can just add and I won't go through and create one now, but I believe that we could do, I believe we can just add a different data set here, potentially, and then save it. I would have to test it, but yes. Well, we can certainly test that, and if that's something that folks are interested in, we can make that a reality.
Okay, jumping back to API, there was a follow-up question. Are you able to push updated items to, say, a fulfillment system? Would I need to refresh an equivalent report in Datastream to ensure the data is current?
Not quite following that, but so when you get the API, how you use it is up to you. So we give these endpoints to you, so you have the ability to send. It would be in this case a get call. So your fulfillment center or whatever would use a get call to send the metadata and the quantity data to that system. But if you want to deplete inventory in Counterpoint, you would have to have the third-party system use an inventory adjustment. So right now, that's how we do it. So you can deplete inventory in Counterpoint either with an inventory adjustment, or the other way to deplete inventory with the API would be creating a ticket. And then, once you have that, you could also, if you wanted to, just use the API and look at the get inventory. And then we also expose, all the quantity on purchase order, transfer in, layaways. So you could see, again, every time you hit this, it's real time. So you'd be able to see real time data there. Or going back to Datastream, you could build a chart that looks at the inventory table and that would reflect updated numbers. But obviously some work would be required, if you're integrating with a third party. We would just provide this. We can certainly do that integration work for you, but that would be a professional service. Whereas if somebody on the other side can work with an API, you can just give them this link and they can run with it.
Is it possible to run a report with multiple years of sales history by item, category, subcategory, etc., to track trends by all stores or individual store?
You can build, yes, you would just have to build different reports, different charts for that. So that would probably be across 2 or 3 charts that you could put on the same dashboard.
Okay. And another follow-up on API, is the API installed to our local Counterpoint server?
Yes. Yes, it's a little service that we install on your Counterpoint server that you don't even know exists. It runs in the background, and that's it.
That is all the questions I have as of right now. Anybody else has any? Questions about users. Can we allow users to access only certain stored data stream?
Yes. Yep. So you can decide what is shared with the company and what is not. And I touched on that at the beginning. You can decide what is shared with the company and what is not shared with the company. So by default, all dashboards are user specific. So if I log in, I've logged in here for the first time, I'm only ever going to see these. If Emily makes one, I'm not going to see it automatically. If John Doe makes another one, I'm not going to see it automatically unless it's specifically shared with me.
Can Datastream customers add users themselves?
Yes, that's a great question. So I'm logged in as a Datastream customer right now. I have this section called users. So if I want to add somebody, it's as simple as going over to users, and I just click add user, and I type in their name, and I can give them roles, depending on what they want access to. And this will change. This is like a little behind the scenes stuff, but this will change depending on how it's set up. But I just type in their name, and then I press save. And what's going to happen is they're going to get an email with a link in it, and when they click that link, they'll be able to set up their username and password. So say, for example, I send it to myself. So I just set this up. I click manage, and at any time as a Datastream user, you can go in and manage your users. So if one of your employees says, oh, dude, I forgot my password, what am I going to do? You don't have to contact RCS. You just go into users. You can reset their password. You can reset their two-factor. You can unlock their account. And if they leave your company for whatever reason, you can delete them. And you can also see, if somebody says, oh, I swear I'm using it. I swear I'm using it. I've logged in. You will know if they've logged in or not, because we have a complete audit trail of all the activity that they do. So yeah, full control over users. It's really, once we deploy it to you, unless you have a technical question, we built it to be as hands-off as possible, hands-off support as possible.
So obviously you went through like the autosave on dashboards and stuff. If a user was to like make changes and wanted to revert back, is there an easy way to do that, or would they need to rebuild their dashboard?
That's a good question. They would need to rebuild their dashboard. Right now, there's no, it's possible, but there's no like undo button per,
I know you showed how to like
there's
clone
a lot of
dashboards.
moving parts and a lot of clicks. So yeah, right now there's no kind of historical undo button.
So always clone before you make major changes.
Always clone. Yeah. Save early, save often.
Awesome. That's all the questions that I have. If you end up having more questions, definitely contact your account manager. They'll be able to follow up with you on that. We also have a full playlist on our YouTube channel, Retail Control Systems, that goes into Datastream, where Paul goes through making reports, charts, and dashboards as well. Is there anything else, Paul, that you wanted to make sure we touched on today?
No, not really. I know it's a little off topic. I just wanted to, shameless sales plug, but something that on the development side that we're proud of, that also just came out. And some folks out there might have it, but we have this other feature in Datastream called Loyalty Hub. We've done some massive improvements of this as part of this release as well. And what Loyalty Hub basically is a way for you to add gift card lookup, points balance lookup, and customer sign up pages on the fly and add them to your web page. I just want to touch on this really quickly. I know it's off topic, but if you have the Loyalty Hub option, it will show up here, and you have a dashboard where you can see like high level information of who's using your pages, who's signing up, who's clicking, how many lookups are you doing, are these things really working? But the neatest feature that I think is all of this is self-service. So you can have a gift card lookup, and once I drill into this, it automatically provides the link for you. So I could just go up here, and then I could go here, and then this is like, it's live on the internet. So you can just you can put this on your website, it connects to your Counterpoint, you can do a gift card lookup if you want to. It automatically generates a QR code for you. And then you can, like WYSIWYG, without contacting us, you can design your page. You can change your logos, you can change your header, footer, your wording, you can change all your colors. You can add extra languages and it will automatically translate for you. So this is great for primarily we have Spanish is the biggest one. And previously there was a lot of manual work in adding different languages and changing labels, but now it's all automatic. And then same for loyalty points is similar, but the other cool one is loyalty sign up. This has been very popular with our customers who use it. So really what this is it allows basically on any device, you can very quickly sign up and add a customer record into Counterpoint. So what we've had folks do is basically take a QR code and slap it on some signage around the store. And when people are standing in line, you just put a message, say, sign up for our loyalty program and save 5% or whatever it is. And then while they're waiting in line, this takes 5 seconds. They just sign up. Once they sign up, they're presented with a barcode that they can scan at the register. And they're automatically added to the ticket. And then you have that information, they can start earning points. Anyway, not part of Datastream, but like I think it's really cool. It came out really at almost the same time as this update. I just wanted to touch on it because I did talk about it with the API stuff.
Absolutely. Great. Well, thank you everyone for joining our Datastream deep dive today. You'll get an automatic email with the webinar recording. But if you have any other questions, definitely contact your account manager and they can help you with any additional questions you might have.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Have a great day.